and welcome back to another video in Unreal Engine 4. This video was voted on by my patrons and my YouTube members, so if you want to vote on one of the videos next month, head over to patreon.com/RyanLaley or join my channel via YouTube. Any donation helps, but I think it's $5 to be able to vote on videos. So thank you to everyone who voted, and this video is all about dealing damage out of range. So previously we made a video about dealing damage with melee attacks. Now we're looking at how to accomplish the same sort of thing, but with a ranged attack such as shooting a gun. So I have a project here where I've got a gun being shot, okay, and we're going to make it so that this enemy takes damage when they detect being shot. So we've got a couple of things to do, such as getting the health bar appearing above the enemy so we can actually see damage being dealt, and also actually dealing damage. So let's start with the former and getting a health bar to appear on our enemy. So I'm going to make another little folder here to keep myself organized a bit better. UI folder, and in here I'm going to create a user widget, user interface widget, and we're going to call this the enemy health bar. And let's just design the look of our health bar, keep it very simple. Delete the canvas panel because we don't need absolute positioning, and instead we're going to need a size box, and a size box allows you to set the size of the thing you want using the overrides on the right hand side here. So I've ticked on both my width and height override, and I'm just going to type in a value to get my width and height. So this requires a bit of experimentation, but I'm going to guess we're going to do 200, and we're going to do we'll do 40. And to see how that appears on your screen, change up the top here where it says fill screen to desired, and you'll see what the bar will look like in its proportions. And I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to leave that as is. After we've got the size box, I'm just going to do a simple progress bar for the health bar. And this progress bar, we got a percentage fill like so, and we can change the color of it here. So I'll make this a red color. Let's make it a bit more muted, a bit more saturated. There we go. And we're going to bind this eventually to our enemy. So I'm going to click compile and go into my graph, and I'm going to create a function. So in your functions on the left hand side, click plus function, and we're going to be calling this function update health. And this update health function is going to be called when we deal damage or heal. You could do either, and it will alter the progress bar that we have available to us. So on update health, we're going to be getting hold of the actor that this thing's attached to. So this is an enemy health bar, so let's update it for the enemy. So I'm going to need to set a variable here. So add a new variable, and we're going to call this enemy, and the variable type for this is going to be the enemy actor we want here. So it's this little mannequin looking one, and it should come up like blue, and that allows us then when we spawn this enemy, this health bar, to have the ability to set it a particular enemy that it belongs to. So on the update health, I'm going to drag my enemy out, choose get, and I'm now going to have to get hold of the health value of my enemy. Now currently my enemy doesn't have a health value, so let's go ahead and add that to our enemy. So I'm going to find my enemy actor, and on the variables on the left hand side, I'm going to click on the plus variable, and I'm going to type in health. Your health values will always be a float because it will always go between 0 and 1. So 0 being no health and 1 being full health. And if you want, you can lock this down with a value range here and the slider range if you like. So here, so value range, we can go 0 there and 1 here, and click compile. And at the start of the game, I want my health default value to be not 0 but 1 instead. Okay, so now we've got the enemy with the health value. On the health bar, we've got this enemy pin, and because it's an enemy type of the variable, that means it has access to that health value that we just added. So I can just search for health and choose get health. And now I can update my progress bar in my UI. So drag your progress bar variable, which it should exist if you have added your progress bar. Choose get, and then from there we can set the percent that it's filled. So why use a function? Why not just bind this to a value such as here? Well, this will happen always on a tick. So there's two ways to do this. So you can do it as a tick, which is what this is. However, that's always checking whether or not we need to update our health value. We don't need to update our health value all the time. We only need to update it when the health value has changed. So when I want to call this update health, I can do, and it will update that percent bar as of and when I need it, rather than all the time. So now we've got this set up. Before we leave here, I'm going to go to my enemy variable, and I'm going to turn on instance editable, and I'm also going to expose it on spawn, and click compile, and then we can close that. So now we get the health bar appearing above our enemy's head. I'm going to go into my enemy here, and I'm going to go to the viewport to easily see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go add component, search for widget, and we can call this enemy health bar. And with that enemy widget component, we can go over to the right hand side with it selected, and we can choose what widget class we want to use. So we're going to choose the enemy health bar, and you can see it comes up massive because we have to tell it to redraw at the desired size. So click the box that says draw at desired size, and now I'm going to position that above where I want it to be on the character. Now at the moment this is set in the world space, meaning that you'll see this bar basically hovering above this enemy's head, like as if it's a model. We don't want that to be the case. Instead, we want to make it screen space. So on the space here, change it to screen, and it'll disappear from here, but that's totally fine. Click compile, and we're going to go into our event graph here. Now you can do it event graph or doing construction script, wherever you like, but I'm going to do it in event graph, and do begin play. And on begin play, I'm just going to go into that enemy health bar here, get hold of the widget that we are using. So choose get user widget object. We're going to cast that to the enemy health bar. And the reason we're casting is because this is just going to return, if we hover over it, it says here user widget object reference. Now what I want is not a user widget, it's a type of user widget, but it's actually an enemy health bar, which is a subclass of it. So I need to turn that into the subclass, which is what casting does. So here I've got the enemy health bar, and now I can I'm going to set my enemy value of that health bar. So set enemy, that variable that we made in the actual health bar itself, and the enemy is going to be this character itself. So I'm going to type in self. So now those two are tied together, they're linked. Okay, that's why we're doing this bit at the start. We're linking the health bar we've made to the data of our enemy here. Okay, so whilst we've got our enemy open up here, I'm just going to add another event. And then type in damage, and you're going to say event any damage. And when we've got taken damage, we're going to just simply get the health. Oh, sorry, one thing. Go back to your enemy health bar cast. I'm just going to move that across here, and we're going to promote this to a variable. So we've got that reference to it all the time. So as enemy health bar, drag that out and tick promote to variable. And we can hook that up like so. I'm going to name it enemy health bar widget. Okay, now we've got that. We've got a reference to that widget, so we can call that function when we want it to. And when we want to do it is on here. So when it receives any damage, okay, we're going to get the enemy health bar widget and choose get. And from here, we're going to call that update health function that we made on our UI. Before we do that, we have to use this health value to change it by the amount of damage we were doing. So on health here, we're going to set health. Oh no, so health. So my bad. We actually have to take away the health first. So for, oh, misclicked. Minus float, and we want to. I'm just going to put that on the bottom one. Actually, no, we put it on the top one. Damage goes into the bottom one here, and we're going to set health again back to what it was, and do like so. So what's going to happen here, when it receives any damage, the health is going to change, and once it does that, it's going to update the health bar on our enemy. So let's test that out. We should see a full health bar above our enemy's head. Oh, not a full health bar because we haven't told it to update straight away. So I can just do, I can do it in two places. I can either just do it from here and update the health bar from here, or I can just go into my UI. Actually, no, we will do it there. We'll do it here. That way we know that the health bar has actually been made and actually exists. So from there, just click update health. And as soon as it's constructed, health bar will update. So now we don't have a full one. Why don't we have a full one? Access none, trying to read property, enemy health bar, update health. And that's because I did something stupid and I set that enemy after the update health. So the reason why we got that error is because this update health was being called before this, and we haven't set the enemy value of it yet. So put that at the end. Now when we play it, it should be okay. There you go. So there's our full health bar above our enemy's head. And notice how it's using the screen space, so it's always turning towards the player. Okay, and always the same size. Okay, so with the health bar now above the enemy's head, we can now deal damage to it. So if I go into my gun, so this is a hit scan gun, so it's using a line trace to deal its damage. And what we've got here is just simply just telling it to attack. Okay, it's just shooting a bullet out. What I want it to do after it shoots a bullet out is detect whether or not it actually hit something. So here I've got a blocking hit already being used, and it's spawning an emitter at that location, and that's simply for my sparks that you see bouncing off stuff. Yeah, so I've already got that set up. If you haven't, that's fine. You must have a line trace if you're doing a hit scan. So if you have a line trace, you want an out blocking hit into a branch, and then you can do whatever you like, because now you've detected I'm hit something. So what I want to do is get the out hit actor here and drag this out. With the out hit actor, that's going to determine what we've hit, what actor we've hit. If you just type in damage, and we can apply that damage straight away, but we may also want to first of all check whether or not we can actually be damaged. So get can be damaged. And if that's true, that will go into a branch. Let's put this at the end here. And if it is true, then we can deal that damage. So drag that actor out again and do damage and go apply damage into true. And the base damage here will be a value between 0 and 1. So I'm going to do a 0.1. And I can do a damage causer if I want. So this one would be, in this case, I've got a gun owner variable. So I'm going to get that and plug that into damage causer. You don't have to do that. The main thing is this value. You need that. Okay. But all of this could be anything you want. Click compile. And we're done here. So now, if I was to push play, and shoot my character, you can see the bullets are going through him and it's dealing damage. Like so. And that's all there is to it. And that's how you do damage from a ranged weapon. If you're doing a projectile is exactly the same. So if you're not doing a hit scan, you're doing a projectile instead. Rather than doing a line trace, what you have is your projectile, and you just do a simple. In fact, let's just quickly show you. It don't take too long. So I'll have an actor, which is a projectile actor. And in your projectile, whatever you may have, whatever you may do with it, you just do an event graph here and go on the event actor begin overlap, and you get the other actor you're overlapping can be damaged. If that's true, apply damage. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so that's if you're doing a projectile, so if you're doing like shooting a fireball or something like that, that's how you do that. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you've learned a bit something there. And again, thank you to everyone who's voted on this video for this month. Shout out to all my patrons for supporting me, especially those in the top tier. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support me, head over to patreon.com/RyanLaley or join the server join the channel membership for $5, and you get access to all the videos early before anyone else. There's about a dozen videos available to everyone early before anyone else, and you get them months ahead, okay? As well as join our Discord and other benefits too. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for the next video. Bye-bye.